everything's on YouTube these days. Whatever you want to make, you can just look it up and see how somebody else did it, and make it into your own style. So that's kind of just how I got into it. I was kind of just inspired by other artists. That's I feel like it's an endless cycle with artists. Everybody's always going to be inspired by one another. Like you said, we all grew up with these worlds, so like that's the main place where I draw from. The games that we all used to play. All right, so with this one, oh, this is actually a really good picture of like so. When I went online to look at, oh, what can I, because I can make things myself. I know how to do that. But to like save time on making this animation, what assets can I download online and like use for myself for this animation? So pretty much everything that's like right here is what I found online. So from Mario Galaxy, anybody that's ever played, before you go into a level, it's just kind of a little planet that's like rotating around, and Mario's just kind of surveying it from afar, and then he flies off to it. So this is that model. The song that I was using was like a remix of like a desert song. And so I was like, oh, let me, get some desert assets from a Mario game. And so this is like the little preview world of Dusty Dunes before you actually fly to it. And so, it's got some cacti flying around it. It's got a couple stones. It's got this little like platform. And so this is all that I had to go off of, really. And this is what I had. So I just, duplicated those cacti everywhere and, put them on top of each other to like make them longer sometimes. I used the sand texture from, all these little like sand holes to like make, big, holes and stuff. And I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna like replicate like how it kind of looks like it's getting darker and darker as it's going down, and like if you fall in there, it's you're probably gonna die. So this is one of the things I'm so proud of. I was like, how did I think of that? But I was like, I can't really just like make a make a whole area like dark because it's gonna look weird. And so what I did, I just made these are just like circles. So yeah, so they're just circles that are like partially black, and like I turned the alpha down on them, and so I'm like, if I layer them, it's gonna look like it's getting darker and darker as it's going down, and so that's what I did. So those are just a bunch of circles that are
that is so sick.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And so yeah, it looks like it looks exactly like it did in the game, where it's like getting darker and darker. I don't know how they did it in the game. That I didn't get those files. I could probably like dump it from Mario Galaxy if I tried, if I looked up tutorials on that. But I was just like, I'm gonna figure it out on my own. So yeah, that's what I did.
Now,
and so this is all that I had to work off of. And so I was really proud of this too, because this was like a part in the game. And I was like, oh, I can make that myself. Let me just, get a stone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I just
nice.
made a little circle and then, cut the circle into like sections, and then made like little boxes and duplicated them on top of each other and like made this little area. And it looks, it doesn't look any different from, that area that's in the game. So just one of the things I love to show off. I can not only can I get the assets from the games and use those in whatever way that I can, but I'm like, I can I have the ability to like make whatever myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, I made that on my own. There's sometimes these towers that are like floating out in the middle of I made those myself. I just tried to like get it as close as possible to what they look like in game. So yeah, I made these myself too. So yeah, this whole world is just a bunch of duplicated sand thingies.
So cool.
And so when I was done making this animation, I was like, what can make this animation look like it's endless? And so after I got all the shots, I just kind of put more and more like sand in the background. I duplicated these pyramids a lot and put them in the background just to make it seem a lot more full, and so yeah.
So cool. What about it looks like there's a giant sun.
Oh, I guess you're talking about like this whole yellow part here?
Yeah.
So that's just like a
Does that affect lighting?
Yes, it does. So that's that there is just like a whole world texture. So if I go to the world here, it's just a gradient, really. So I've got these are the colors here that affect what colors the world is. And so this blue here is gonna like affect the top, and this yellow here is gonna affect the yellow, and then it gets like orange as it goes all the way down.
Mm.
And so it's not. It might. I forget if I actually looked at this galaxy in game to see what the lighting looked like. It might look like this, but the sky was all blue, and I think maybe I used the yellow just for the lighting. I'm not sure if you actually see it in the animation. But yeah, these are just gradient colors that I'm.
And the camera movement for this shot, wild.
Oh yeah, so let's go to. It's so hard to find when you've got stuff going on like this.
Right. I can't imagine.
Let me find it here, and then it'll pop up in the.
It'll highlight it, right?
Yeah. There we go. Okay. So yeah, where these little arrows are coming off of, that's where
there we go.
I have selected. Okay, so apparently, what camera are we on right now? Let me see. Oh, okay, not camera one, but just camera. Okay, so this is what we're looking for. So this is what we're seeing right now. This is like the little eyeballs. So, what you see right here is what's matching up, over here. And as we move on, this is gonna like move around to the left and kind of circle around them. And there's that warp star right there, or launch star, I'm sorry. And me on top of Yoshi, and we're moving along. I didn't really have to animate us all that well, since the camera's kind of far off, but it's well enough to where it looks like he's walking along, and you can't really see his, that his feet are in the sand, but like
right.
I didn't really have to focus on that.
It's illusion.
Right, exactly. So, yep, and we just launch off, and there we go.
Look at that.
I'm pretty sure we're zooming there.
Yeah, the camera movement.
So yeah, you can kind of see here where all these lines are pointing to. That's where we are. So yeah, we're flying for sure. And then all those stars, that pop out.
Right.
And then, okay, so for this one, this is one of the, I think this is like the first time that I was like, I had this big scene and I was moving, a lot of things around at the same time. So, the camera's about to cut here. And so, you'll see, my character and Yoshi are still right here. So when we cut to the next camera, it's, gonna warp us like to a completely different place. And so now we're right here and we're going down that line and we're flying along. And then on the next camera cut, we're flying along the sand down here. And so, on a any specific frame, I can just kind of move our characters to any given place. So you can see, here before, we're right here going along the sand, and then on the next cut, we're back here flying along, and that's where we, get the star bits and whatnot.
Nice.
So yeah, I can kind of just jump our characters around to where I need them to be at the same time. The right way to do something like this is to, have a completely different project file. And like, you render out, what this camera sees, you render out what that camera sees, so on and so forth. But I'm like, that's too much. I can do it all in one project and just move things around on one frame and, make sure it keeps going and keep the momentum and stuff. So I hope that makes sense, but yeah.
No, it makes total sense for sure. And what a fantastic way to show this too. I'm so glad we're doing this way instead of all those ideas I came up with.